Stop giving a description.
I'm narrating. They're swimming inflammation.
They really don't look like an MV.
Let's see if that's too separate. Try to zoom in. It's really blurry, but you can see them.
This guy's trying real hard not to get water on his gun. Oh, shoot. What? I like that guy. And it's this guy. He's like completely soaked. This guy's like, I skipped leg day. You can see this guy with his, like his rifle like up out of the water.
Kind of movie, but going that way. And we have like three guys in the middle. Oh, at us.
Oh, you see one of them's aiming one of these guns.
But like where? At us?
Look at the guy right there in the middle. They have stuff on them guns, so they don't get the actual barrel.
So like, does that not look like he's pointing at us?
Army cadets came.
Looks like he's pointing at
Exactly, we get to get you guys can get to suffocate in no atmospheric air and then dive down and then drown in the water.
He did say that he was still going to
Look
get
at
there.
these people, they're just like in the shorts and
You guys like, not what I said.
Why did not what he said? I don't know.
yeah, they got like M16s.
According to Pablo, they had M16s.
You see that? They're M16s. Brown.
What?
M16s.
Yeah.
Along the shore.
It's a C7, not an M16. Or no, it's not, because it has the carry handle.
That's an M16.
Yeah, it is an M16.
M or N?
M.
It's an M16.
That is nice. So, I actually
This guy's got a C7 now. Okay, look at these guys. They have like a carry handle on top. Right? If you look at his, he has like a scope on top. What's the difference?
Right, okay?
Yeah, those are rapid.
These are taking off the papers that they have.
I think this guy might have dropped his guy. When he dropped his rifle.
People thrown back in the water. Currently aiming at them. I got two people more deep in the water. Got a boat here.
Why did these guys not get wet?
Me and the boys and me and the beach.
This Corporal Douglas looks confused.
this buyer has this material.
Why are you narrating?
Only like 4 minutes. Practically 5.
This knows it, but you know, I don't know what's going on because
One of this
he obviously wasn't there. You're narrating what they're doing. You're here, you're seeing what's happening.
Did this guy swim?
Yeah, she said she's narrating what's happening, but yet she's seeing, she said she's not going to remember writing what's happening.
I'm not gonna remember what happened. I'm still trying to remember. I don't.
This bit on the bed.
Oh, that guy's super cool.
Joshua.
Hey, tu sors sauter?
Non, c'est pour ça, pas de condo.
Enlève-le, mets-toi par ça. Non? C'est ça.
C'est quoi interdit?
Côté que la caisse.
That's what he does.
Ou dans le côté.
Up that.
Oh, it's people in this.
Cadets, let's horseshoe right around these 2 boats here. Thanks for coming there. My name's Chief Warrant Officer Brett Perry. I'm a regular force PPCLI infantry soldier. I'm the Regimental Sergeant Major for the Ceremonial Guard. We're the guys that change into the Guard. You guys ever see that before? That's what we are. There's some GGFG soldiers here. There's CGG. There's a whole bunch of soldiers here. So the Guard takes in a whole bunch of people every year. So while we're there, we perform a whole bunch of public duties, but we also do training like this because these are infantry soldiers primarily. So what we're doing right now is they're doing a navigation exercise. But before they get into the navigation exercise, we inserted them via fins and wetsuits. Okay, so this is a light infantry way to insert to an area. So we do this all the time. This job here, a reconnaissance unit would normally come in like this and they would set up a beachhead. Once the beachhead's set up, then we bring everybody else in. Does anyone have any questions of what we did here today? No? Okay, cool. So just a little bit about myself. I started as a cadet in Winnipeg, and I was the in PPCLI cadet. That's where I started. Then I joined the reserves for about 8 minutes, and then we had a whole bunch of units that were standing themselves up, and I ended up going into the reg force pretty quick. So it's really good seeing you guys here. You're here for a shooting team. Is that what you're here for? Or? All of them are here for air rifle marksman instruction.
Oh, very good. Okay, cool. Well, I'm glad they got combats for you guys now because I think I had to like buy mine back in the day. Anyways, you guys should be getting a lot more support. There's a lot of light going on to the cadets right now because of what you guys do and the values that you learn. I think it's a great organization, so thanks very much for being in the cadets. And I hope to see you guys one day, and I hope I can throw you out in the water here. You guys can swim ashore like these guys here. Any other questions? Any questions? Yeah, go ahead.
Why do you wear face paint?
Sorry?
Why do you wear face paint instead of putting clothes over?
Okay, so I wear cam stick because my soldiers are wearing cam stick for one thing. I'm in the water all the time, so it comes off all the time, right? So we put cam stick on our face because right now they're going into a wooded area, and they're gonna. I got attack dogs that are gonna be chasing them down here right away, and a couple drug enforcement dogs from CBSA are gonna be here. So they're going to be looking for them. So they're getting tracked right now. So they're going to come under contact or under fire. Someone's going to start shooting at them. And then they're going to have to start running. And then they're going to start plotting their points. But this helps to hide. They're going to hide themselves in the bush when bad guys are looking for them. So that's why. Cool? Go
How
ahead.
do they get tracked?
Sorry?
How do they get tracked instead of using dogs? Do they use some kind of technology or something?
Like who?
do
Oh,
they get
track.
tracked?
Oh, gotcha. So the dogs that we have been using here are CBSA dogs. They do track primarily drugs and ammunition. Those dogs are so good that what they do is when they find it, they sit down. So the Cocker Spaniel here that we had running around in here, she was actually coming up to me all the time and sitting down because she knew I had a weapon. But when I took my weapon off and I put it in my Jeep and I was walking around, she was still following me around and she'd sit down trying to show her handler. So her scent, she can smell drugs, weapons, ammunition, anything like that. So she knows they have that. She can find them anywhere in these woods here. We also had some of the police units from town here as well, and their dogs are trained for that as well. So that's how they use scent. Yeah, good question. Any other questions? No? All right, cool. Yep. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Out of curiosity, you said that some people are shooting at the soldiers that are in the fort.
Right.
What are they shooting at?
They're shooting it's a blank ammunition. So this is a blank ammunition that we use in training, okay? Okay, so there's nothing on top of it. You can see that? So it's a blank ammunition that we use. And if you ever see a soldier walking around with a weapon, he's got this on. It's called a BFA, a blank firing apparatus. So this is on here indicating that I only have blanks in here, plus it helps make the weapon function. So that's what we use.
Okay.
Okay? So you had another question or? No? Okay. Any other questions? Yeah, go ahead.
I noticed when they're landing, they're just using the regular C7s. Why don't they use the C7A2?
They're using rubber rifles right now.
All right.
The reason why they're using rubber rifles is because if they drop one, it's 30 feet down, and then I'm going to be in trouble because I'm going to need to find it. So we're not using what I have right here. They're using rubber rifles right now. That's what there's a replica rifle. Yeah. Go ahead.
Have they ever dropped a rifle?
Today, or the last 3 days, we've been good. We haven't dropped a weapon, so we're good. But yes, it does happen from time to time. Yep. Any other questions? Yeah, go ahead.
Guys who are shirtless and
Sorry?
guys who are only wearing shorts.
Right. Those guys are called safety swimmers. So because I have soldiers in the water, I have safety swimmers and a couple safety boats. So if someone was distressed and they started going under, or they couldn't swim anymore, or they got a cramp, then that boat would come up to them and they would go in the water and pull them out. I also have medics on there, and another safety boat. That's what those guys are doing. Good? They're all qualified lifeguards, those guys. Any other questions? No? Yeah, go ahead.
You consider that mission was successful, but you guys just did?
Oh yeah, for sure. They inserted the way I wanted them to. There's not a lot of chatter, so you don't want to, whenever you're near the water, your voice echoes, right? So you always want to keep nice and low and quiet, otherwise bad guys are going to know they're there coming in. So normally you wouldn't do this in the day. We're doing this in the day because we're only training, but you would do this at night. So you do this at night and you have a binocular on, okay? So night vision, so you'd be wearing night vision, and you would come in nice and quiet, like hit the shore. And then we had a fire here as a signal fire, but it's called a partisan link up. So he's acting as a civilian, but he's a civilian that's aiding us. So you guys do patrolling anymore, cadets, or no? You don't do patrolling.
I did a while ago.
Okay, all right. So we used to do partisan link up when I was a cadet. Actually, I was like a 14-year-old kid doing partisan link up. So you got a guy on shore, and he'll give them a couple code words and things like that, and then he'll bring them in. Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
What kind of boat is that?
This is our assault boats that we use in the Canadian Armed Forces. These assault boats, 12-man assault boats. There's cells in here. Okay, so if one of these cells got popped, this boat is still good. Okay, there's a whole bunch of different cells in here. So the reservists have a whole bunch of these now. There's a lot of support being given to the reserves right now, rightfully so. They are now becoming a spearhead here in Canada to go to forest fires, floods, things like that. We just had a flood here recently on this very river and everywhere else around here. And the reservists were actually using these to go save people out of their houses or get to the work area to start sandbagging. So this is the boat that they used. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
You have a C7 or an M16?
This here? This is called a C8. The C8 rifle, yeah. This is our newer style rifle. Yeah. What are you guys shooting now?
These guys shoot
Daisies.
rifles, but we are using the C11s and C12s, so 5.56, 7.62.
Okay, they're just starting.
Yeah, they're target rifles.
Okay.
They can do C7 shoots, but getting the ammo few and far between.
Oh yeah? It's hard to get ammo? You got lots in. Can we get you some ammo?
Not for this one.
No? Oh, you should get my contact numbers to see if I can get you some ammo there. Okay, yeah, we used to, when I was in cadets, we shot AFN. You guys know what that is? You guys still parade that thing, or?
No, we only parade the Lees.
Old Lee
But they're
MPs.
DPs at this point. Drill purpose rifles only.
Okay. Yeah, we used to shoot the FN when I was in cadets. So yeah. Okay, cool. Any other questions? No? Okay, great. Hey, thanks again for coming, and I don't know what you you don't really have to decide what you're doing with the rest of your life, but if you want to stay in the military or get into the military, I should say, there's lots of opportunities, and our military is expanding. We're bringing in a lot more people, and we're definitely bringing our numbers up to include the reserves. The reserves are expanding in a large amount, and they're always looking for people. So you're 17 years old and you decide that you want to join the military. Going into the reserves is a really good way to get your feet wet, so to speak, and see if it's something that you like. So hopefully one day I get to see you, throw you out a plane or throw you off a boat. Cool? Okay, have a good one, guys. Thanks so much for coming.